How on earth am I supposed to lose weight if I'm always hungry? Hundreds of my YouTube videos teach the secret to losing fat is dropping the insulin. 20 total carbohydrates or less in a day is the headline, but it's really hard to do when your body is constantly signaling you, I want food. That's where drugs like Ozempic come in. And they're technically called GLP-1 agonists, and boy, oh boy, do they suppress appetite. But you'll need to inject the drug, and like any drug, it comes with side effects like these. But what if I told you you can get the appetite suppression benefits of Ozempic with 3 simple changes in your diet? And no need to inject. GLP-1 is primarily made in the gut. It is a naturally producing hormone specifically coming from the L cells, found at the end of your small intestine and the beginning part of your large intestine. It's known for its appetite suppression, and that's in part because it dramatically slows down how food moves from one end of your gut to the other. Yes, this keeps you physically full for longer, but it also works because it sends signals to your brain that you are no longer hungry and food is not as interesting. And the key to this hormone has been that different foods will signal the production of GLP-1 from those L cells, while other foods seem not to change it at all. Let's start with one of the most potent stimulators of GLP-1, and those are foods called short-chain fatty acids. The specific one is butyrate, which comes from the Greek word butter, one of the best sources of butyrate in our diet. In medical school, we were taught that butyrate was rarely found in the diet, and the only way that you could stimulate these L cells was to take fiber. The fiber would then interact with the specific bacteria in that area. The specific bacteria in the area would consume the fiber and poop out butyrate. Yes, the butyrate would then touch these L cells, and that would stimulate GLP-1. So if you're on a healthy, high-fiber diet and you have a healthy gut biome, you should have no problem producing butyrate on its own. However, if you're on a high-fat, low-carbohydrate diet, the production of butyrate is suppressed. And yes, my favorite short-chain fatty acid of butyrate, being butter, is on the menu, but it's only 3% of that butter that was butyrate. There are other foods that offer it, but much like the butter, is a small percentage. So how do I get butyrate to my L cells? So I continued on my quest to stimulate GLP-1 and not increase my carbohydrates. And I landed on the second food type, which is polyphenols. Polyphenols support your gut biome, as well as directly stimulate those L cells to produce that GLP-1. So here's a list of polyphenols, and that list includes things like coffee and chocolate, as well as blueberries. But if I'm trying to keep my carbs low, the place that I focused on was the addition of algae. A handful of these energy bits really helped stimulate the polyphenols and my L cells to produce that hormone. So personally, my solution for stimulating my L cells was a handful of these each day. Food number 3 to help boost our GLP-1 is allulose. Allulose is a sugar substitute where you'll find it's actually a rare sugar that's been rising in popularity, much because of the science behind what it does once it's inside. As you swallow allulose, it is a direct stimulator of these L cells to produce that GLP-1. So as you consume allulose, it does several other things once it's in circulation, but you can boast the benefit that you are stimulating the production of your own GLP-1 each time you use it. In the mouse studies, where we looked at the connection between allulose and that production of GLP-1, the formula seemed to be about a gram for every kilogram of mass. So that 1 gram per kilogram that was used in the mouse studies to stimulate the GLP-1, if you translate that to us, it would be a very large volume of allulose that you need to consume. What you can take confidence in is the consumption of allulose will be a much more natural rise and fall of your GLP-1, as opposed to something like Ozempic, where the dose shoots that level to superhuman levels and holds it there, which is why it works so well for weight loss, because it really does shut down your whole gut. That's also where the side effects from Ozempic are not welcome. Some of that excessive muscle loss and these other side effects are too much for me to take. These foods have the science behind how they'll boost GLP-1 and suppress appetite. Eating handfuls of algae and bags of allulose will suppress appetite, but that's not the most successful way to reduce hunger. What's the best guarantee to boost metabolism and suppress hunger while using whole foods? You guessed it, sardines. If you think you hate sardines, I dare you, eat 1 can. Watch the next video for the rules on that sardine challenge.